Well, good evening, DirtFish Rally friends, and welcome to our thoughts from the kitchen table here at the end of day one at the Rally Sardinia in Alghero. And David, what a beautiful spot this is. It's one of the highlights of the year for me. The end of the day, we come and we sit, we watch this glorious sunset by the marina.
Did you just change the name of the event on purpose there?
You
call it Rally Sardinia, but is that because there are now two WRC rounds in Italy, Cole?
Yes, exactly that.
That's exactly that.
Yeah, there are. And that, I suppose, let's start with that as the news for the day, David.
Shall
We're going to Monza.
We're going to Monza. Isn't that fantastic news?
Well, it is fantastic news. Did it come early enough, that news?
I don't care.
I might sound a bit critical. I shouldn't be, because it is fantastic news. It really is.
Fundamentally, what are we on now? Round 6? We could have 8 rounds of the championship.
And do you know what?
Brilliant.
In early August, we were thinking if we get 3 or 4 rounds, that'll be a result. But 8 rounds is a good and proper championship.
It is. And you know, one thing I would like to say, Colin, just before we go any further, there has been some criticism from our friends in Belgium about the piece that we published yesterday with DirtFish about the fact that WRC could actually end. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's very kind. Thank you.
That's Hakey's water.
And
that's
yes, it's very good. Cappuccino. You know, I don't know, we've drunk too much coffee today, but it's lovely.
It's very good.
You. And do you think you could, the music, just turn it down a little bit while we're down. No problem. Down would be lovely. Yes, thank you. Sugar, David, would you like your sugar?
Are you still taking the sugar there?
Yeah, a little sugar.
Not for me.
Yeah,
I'm not a man who needs any more sugar.
He's an athlete. He doesn't have sugar. Go ahead, David. You don't have to justify anything you like, because you're the world's best rally journalist.
I do want to, Cole, because
go aheid.
You know, we're all aware of the issue around the world now. You know, you'd have to live on the moon not to be aware of what is going on, and it's entirely possible that we could lose Belgium. We all hope not.
It's
of course
entirely
we do.
possible that we could lose Monza.
Yeah, of course it is. You know, nobody knows which way this thing is going. The fact is, Sébastien Ogier made a very, very good point about travel, logistics, going from Germany to Belgium.
Regulations,
everything is changing, and it is quite plausible that the championship could end here on Sunday night. I think one thing that we have to say is we live for this sport. You know, we earn our livings in this sport. Yeah. We love it. Yeah. And we want 14, 16, 20 rounds of the World Championship every year. We want to go to Belgium. Belgium, I have to say, for me, is one of the most exciting places. I know I've always said that I'm not a huge fan of the traditional IPA rally, but now the chance to go there in autumn with, you know, such conditions.
For me, it's one of the best things to have come out of this year.
It's so
the best things to have come out of this year.
You know,
so exciting.
Sorry, I got slightly emotional. But yeah, that's the point for me. You know, delighted. Yeah. Great to see Monza, and everything crossed that we get to Belgium. But
let's be realistic about it.
Exactly. Moving on.
Moving on to the day.
We cannot talk about anything else but brilliant Danny Sordo.
Sordo has been magnificent today, and he is, I genuinely believe this, I said it last year, but I genuinely believe that he gets better and better and better because he knows how to deal with situations.
How does he do this? He hasn't been in the car since, okay, we saw him in Italy, hasn't been on rough gravel, on any gravel, since Mexico. Did it again.
Off this.
Stop touching me.
Sorry, mate. Sorry, we've got about 2 meters of separation.
But we're in a bubble.
What I would say is that he does it because his driving isn't getting any better as such. His level of skill is there. But his experience, his ability to deal with situations, his ability to strategize, not to get too stressed, not to overthink things, that is where the improvements are coming.
You said it today. You said that, you know, this is the most relaxed Danny Sordo that we've seen. And it is. And, you know, with that state of mind comes a freeness and an ability. But also he came here knowing that if it didn't rain, it did rain a little bit, but not too much. He knew he'd be in a really strong place on the road. But for me, this, you know, you're right. You know, we have rarely seen a stronger Danny Sordo and you know, the time in the 4th stage today was just brilliant. And what was great was the fact that the way he explained the feeling in the car, it was magic. You know, it was great. And what's also hugely interesting is the fact that he found that feeling after the test. He went in a direction with the car that Thierry Neuville has now followed him into.
Correct.
Because Thierry found, you know, the car this morning, it was pitching out of the bumps and out of the ruts. He just couldn't find any comfort with the car. Danny,
that's remarkable. That's remarkable. The guy who's in the car full time, that had testing in Finland before we returned, that's had more rallies than Sordo.
Has followed the guy who's done 5 stages this year.
Exactly. It is quite remarkable, and it shows you the value of experience in our sport, and really just about unique in any motorsport is the fact that experience here really does count for an awful lot more than really any other top level
It does,
motorsport.
because you strategize about the tyres. You know, we saw Suninen really pushing with Sordo this morning. Superb, really strong morning from Teemu. And then he took some hards this afternoon. The wrong strategy for him. He couldn't get the heat into the tyre. You know, Danny didn't do that, and it is that bit of experience.
It is. But what I'd just like to finish off talking about Hyundai by saying that what Sordo has shown today is, again, and I'm a big fan of his, Mr. Adamo's got it right. He got it right with Craig Breen in Estonia, and Breen was magnificent in Estonia. And he's got it right again here.
Got it right with Loeb in Turkey.
And he got it right with Loeb in Turkey. Yeah. You know, before Adamo appeared on the scene, and he didn't appear on the scene because he's been in rallying and motorsport for decades.
Telling us he's inexperienced.
Exactly.
And blah, blah, blah.
You know, don't believe that when he says. He is the most experienced rally man just about around. But you know, it was kind of accepted that this rotation of drivers just didn't work in the modern era. He's basically shown us that if you use it properly to your advantage,
the rules,
exploit
the regulations,
it
that's
works.
exactly what he's done.
It works.
Yeah.
It works.
And you know, it's not rocket science, is it? To know that if your driver misses a couple of rounds, he's going to be further down the order. So you come to Mexico, you're in a good position.
But you've got to have the right driver. You've got to have the right driver.
Yeah.
Someone that doesn't want to prove themselves. Someone that's not really driving for.
That's a bit unfair to Breen.
2 out of 3. That's the situation with Loeb and with Sordo. With Breen, this is the great thing about Breen, is he's gone out, done what he was asked to do, at the same time selling himself. Yeah. You know, he knew he had to go quick, and he did. Anyway, let's move on. Because we don't have a time limit for this, because we kind of had a little time limit when we were in Turkey, but then you the rally fans, told us that you actually wanted to hear more from us. So we've had the green light from our marketing director to talk for as long as we like. How good is that?
Yeah, but we've got to go and see Oliver Solberg in 5 minutes.
We do. You started talking about Suninen. Yeah. Suninen and Ford. Let's talk about Suninen M Sport. One of those really typical rally up and down days for them. Magnificent optimism, really, until halfway through stage 2. But at the end of the day, I think Richard Milner will be relatively happy with the day.
It's got to be, because the speed is there, and you know,
and he still might win the rally.
Absolutely. If it were not for this, taking the wrong tyres this afternoon, he would absolutely be there. But tomorrow is another day. He did point out to you that the stages are that bit quicker tomorrow. I'm not going to risk that, because what happens? It gets
on your beardy, and you get a little beardy moustache.
And you just let me carry on and make an absolute fool of myself.
Yeah.
So no, what has shown here is the absolute speed the Fiesta's still got. Will it be able to carry that speed forward tomorrow into the real quick stuff? Let's wait and see. But so far, fabulous. Just big concern, not concern, but big disappointment for Esa-Pekka. He needed a result, and second in the first stage, it was looking good. But still, Gus Greensmith.
Greensmith's been good.
Really solid, good day from Gus.
And Greensmith is showing us. I've followed Greensmith for a long time. He was in the BRC and the juniors. He's always shown that he has ability and pace. Really building that pace into a consistent level of form has been difficult for Gus. What we're seeing here is the benefit of a great run in Turkey. A great
building confidence and
self-belief. I think he was beginning, for a man who's supremely confident.
I don't think he could doubt himself. Gus has great self-belief.
Do you think so?
Yeah, I do.
An affirmation of his self-belief then.
Okay, absolutely.
Is that the right word?
We need to move on to the last thing we have to talk about. Sebastian Ogier's comments at the end of the final stage tonight. We picked it up again with him in an interview that you can probably see on the website anytime now. Yeah. And once again explained his frustrations, called the sport amateur, said that it needs to be run in a more professional manner. You can understand his frustrations. Like Elvin said, he's had 6 years of these frustrations of running in this loose stuff and just handing time away.
You can see his point. We have 5 or 6 of the best drivers in the world right now who are more or less on a level, I would say. The likes of Elvin, clearly, you've got 3 really at Toyota.
You've got 2 or 3 of these guys massively handicapped.
Massively handicapped. And I asked Seb whether the frustration was perhaps exacerbated by the fact it did look as if we'd found the solution in Turkey. And Turkey was a good solution, different situation, different scenario. It was the same
scenario in Estonia, and we went with it. We turned it around.
That's what I meant.
Halfway through the first day.
And
then, there is the argument this is a 3-day event, but it's roughly the same distance. Yeah. To me, we need to look at the distance, not
not
how
the
many
number of
days.
Yeah, I agree totally.
And I do feel,
Yeah.
you know, personally, I think that Ogier really does have a point here, and we had an opportunity to turn this thing around and stop this boring nonsense of the
4
running
or 5
order.
drivers competing for the win tomorrow we could have had.
Yeah,
And we've
exactly.
got, realistically now, what we've got.
Well, in fairness, it's Sardinia. Anything can happen. Don't forget last year.
Yes, and don't forget clearly what happened in Turkey just a few weeks ago. David, it's been a great day. I've really enjoyed today.
Fabulous day.
There's been a lot going on out there. We feel
Sun's
very
pretty
much
much gone
better.
down.
The sun has gone down. That was our egg timer. The sun
Was
has
it?
gone beyond the horizon.
Wow.
That
Yep.
tells us that we have to move on. Folks, thank you very much for following us all. We had a great day with breaking news on the DirtFish.com website yesterday. Again today, there are some fantastic articles and videos for you all to watch and enjoy, absolutely free of charge, by the way. We won't and won't charge for our content, so make sure you stick with us through the course of the weekend. We love to hear from you. Put a little comment after the video. Send us, how can people get in touch? Twitter?
Yeah.
At DirtFish Rally,
All of the
or
social
through
media.
Instagram, any of those, Facebook, put a comment there as well. We will be back first thing tomorrow morning to give you an update on the conditions. We go into Monte Lerno first thing tomorrow morning for
In the
Mickey's
dark.
Jump.
It'll be dark for us. It
It'll
won't
be dark
for
for us,
them.
won't be dark when we get there. Folks,
Be a
thank
little
you.
bit. Do you have dusk in the morning?
We're up against
Yeah,
it.
it's all
Drink
right,
your
all right, all
coffee.
right.
Folks,
Yeah, but
thank you.
is that on?
Thank you for joining us. We'll see you all tomorrow.